Let your spirit rise. Let your spirit rise. Let your spirit rise. Find your place, leave space. On the way, elevate.
Hair on their face.
Nope.
Is this on camera?
What?
Are the people gonna see us?
Yeah.
Okay. Look
It
at his
ain't lying.
hands, baby.
Huh?
Look at his hands.
Oh yeah, he needs some lotion in his life. Be on TV looking like. I usually don't let my wife. Yeah, they gonna see. Yeah,
His
they gonna
hands
see.
almost the same color as the cement.
Just let your spirit shine. Spirit, 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 spirit rise. Spirit, spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're locked into the I.M.A.G.E podcast, and we're in Atlanta, Georgia. You can see it's beautiful out here. We're out here by the airport. We've had a wonderful week. We were on Preach the Word Worldwide TV Network, and it was beautiful. Brother Michael Winfrey and his wife are now here with me. And guys, tell me, how's it been out here in Atlanta?
Oh, we've been having a fabulous time. We've been enjoying the scenery and the people. I really love seeing all of our people. That's really a blessing to see Black-owned businesses and people doing things that most people say that we can't. So we've been having a fabulous time.
Ladies, let me tell you, if you want to stay slim and trim, do not come to Atlanta. There is food all over the place.
That's right. There's food galore out here. I mean, every time you walk around, there's somebody grilling. I mean, and it's real good food. It's not just food.
Yeah.
Amen.
This is food that sticks to you. They got a Waffle House right around the corner. Gus's Chicken. Oh, let me show you. Souvenir from Gus's Chicken. I'm going to take this back to the DMI with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to kind of get a little bit into the topic of discussion, what we got for you on today's I.M.A.G.E podcast. We went on worldwide television. We had a great time, and we were able to not only talk about our stories as it related to prison, as we talk about the Constitution, 13th Amendment, and why slavery is still legal in prison, but we also had the chance to lift the good Lord above up, and we were able to talk about Jesus. We were able to talk about our faith, and that there was really impressive and a big relief to me.
Yes, sir, because you can talk about every God but Jesus. As soon as you talk about Jesus, you're going to be in trouble. And so with this network, we're able to preach the gospel. We don't have to be ashamed of the gospel, and we're able to be who we're supposed to be or who we're called to be and share that gospel with others.
Yes, and I was excited about the show. I was not on the show. I was in the audience, but I was excited that the guys, they did a great job and brought the word of God right into y'all's living rooms.
Now, as you can see, Mr. and Mrs. Winfrey have on their San Francisco 49ers jersey. You guys want to talk a little bit about that and what that represents?
This is my thing. When Colin Kaepernick was blackballed from the NFL for kneeling, not because of the flag, but because of what was happening on the streets to our young Black children, it touched my heart. And so my husband and I are representing Colin Kaepernick and what happened to him just because he was trying to represent and bring attention to what's happening out on these streets with our Black men and boys.
And you know, something that's really important about that, it ties into what the show.
Yes.
We're talking about the 13th Amendment, right? And talking about slavery being abolished in one sense, but in another sense, not being abolished. And we see it even in the case of Kaepernick, because he kneeled because of what they were doing to us, the injustices they have been doing to us for more than 400 years. And because of that, He basically lost his career. And then now we see that, or we've heard on the news now that you can kneel for what's going on in Israel and this war that's going on. And that to me is so hypocritical, and why the 13th Amendment needs to be amended so that we can take slavery out of all aspects of life.
Right. Not only prison. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're locked and loaded into Nothing But Love on the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast. And I'm going to read to you the law as I did before, but we must understand this, because a lot of people have no clue that this is written in our Constitution, that this is written in our laws. You have law enforcement officers that have worked on the job for decades and still don't know that this law exists. Okay, so this is the law of the 13th Amendment that clearly states that slavery is still legal in prison. And it says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any other place subject to their jurisdiction. That's right. Now, if we don't come together and do something about this, then we are going to continue the trend of slavery in prison. And we talk about the barriers that this has. The barriers that this has. When you were in prison, did you feel that compression? You know, just the fact of knowing that you're an inmate, feeling more like a slave, you know, because you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, and I would say yes and no. I'd say no because of my relationship with Christ, and that made me free. But I'll say yes because I was no longer a name, I was a number. Anybody who's ever researched anything about the United States, everything that they do with us is concerning numbers. So your social security number is a number, a way of tracking you. Well, your offense number is a way of tracking you. Your criminal record is a number, a way of tracking you. So again, it's the status quo. And one of the things that ties into prison that most people don't realize is just the police department in itself, how it was created. It was created to catch runaway slaves.
That's right.
And so now that they've caught us, they put us back on the plantation, which is this thing called prison. And I remember on the show, you were talking about making 25 cents an hour. Yeah. Or in the state of Texas, they don't get any money. So that's slavery at its highest. Arizona is another place where they put you in prison, but you're outside in 115 degrees in a tent. Is that not slavery?
Man, you hit it right on the head, Brother Winfrey, when you said, that slavery that still exists in prison that you can feel, not only just working for that 25 cents an hour, but runaway slaves and people that were, back in the slavery days when there were slaves and when this law first came out, what it was intended for, and how it still has effect. You know, this is why we have to change the law, because it still it demonstrates a performance and a behavior throughout the guards in the system, the sheriff's office, the court system. It's a trickle effect, all the way from top to bottom. And, most of the defense lawyers, they know about it. Most of the sheriffs, most of the judges, most of the wardens, they all know about this kind of stuff. However, because they're different elements, you have bureaucracy up here that is in dictation of all of this. And so that's who we have to obviously aim toward. And I'll be headed out to Washington, D.C. on December 5th to speak with Chuck Grassley about this, our senator in Iowa. I've had some real great communication with him, and, hopefully this is something that, we'll be able to get across and get him to understand how important it is and get this thing changed.
Yeah. And I want to say that because listening to your testimony about Chuck Grassley, his mindset is different than a lot of the senators or politicians, but he's just one small piece in the puzzle. And I remember you asking me on one of your earlier shows when I was in Iowa about what do I think would change the system. And I said, changing the hearts of men. And so a lot of times there's a disconnect between the community and the police force or the judicial system. And both of them actually need one another. Both of them should be able to work hand in hand. But you have to imagine coming back from slavery, where these individuals were chasing us down. Not only were they chasing us down and captivate, but they were also decapitating us. They were cutting off body parts. They were beating us. They were whipping us. They were hanging us from trees. So that flows over into the African American community. So whenever we think of police officers, we're automatically afraid. We're automatically nervous. We have people breaking into our houses, crimes being committed against us. But because of that slavery mentality, we're afraid to call them. And then it's reinforced by the few bad apples. And I'm not saying that we don't need the police department. We do need them. Right. But the few bad apples stand out. And now that we have technology like we have today, it's more evident these things have been going on and continue to go on. So again, with the 13th Amendment, we see slavery being enforced by the master, who is the one who's capturing us. And not only that, one of the greatest things that slavery did was it belittled us and made us feel like we were less than, but it magnified them and made them feel like they were greater. And they capitalized off of slavery with us picking cotton, and now they capitalize off of making cabinets and stuff for the military. Most people don't know that we make things for the military when we're locked up, paying pennies or nothing. And then guess what? Master is still getting rich off of the product called slavery.
You know, this is really a deep conversation, because I'm gonna tell you, I have white people that I love that are my family members, you know, and I feel like, you know, so I can see kind of both sides of this a little bit more than what the average black man sees. And when I say that, I mean, how do you approach a conversation like this without offending the white people of today that had nothing to do with what happened back then?
Yeah, I think like the gospel, you do it in love. One of the problems, again, that we have with any issue in this country or in this world is because we don't talk. I believe that there are Europeans that love us, and as we were downtown doing the Martin Luther King thing, and we got to see all the Europeans who walk with us and help to make a change. So it has nothing to do with color. Again, it has to do with the hearts of men and women, because if men and women are saved and living out that salvation, then slavery is eradicated. Racism is eradicated. Hatred is eradicated. But it's about us walking it out. So how I would present it is the same way I would present it to an African American individual. Sit down. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Because whether we talk about it or not, it's still here. And so one thing that's hard for them to grasp and to understand, and I talked to you about this one-on-one, is that someone who's never been to prison, your family could have been to prison, your son could have went to prison, your next door neighbor could have went to prison, and you have some kind of head knowledge of it, but you don't have the actual knowledge of what's going on. So the individuals of today, they don't have a clue of what we went through. But there were some Europeans at the places that we went, and they were trying to learn the history. So now when you learn the history, it helps you to have a better understanding to say, okay, well, all black people are not angry. And even if they are, they have a reason to be angry, right, because of all this happened to them in this country.
And Ms. Winfrey, I see you over there looking like you may have something to say. I see something on your mind. Why don't you spit it out and let us know what you're thinking about?
I tend to be a little bit more militant than my husband. And so it upsets me when, take for example, Black Lives Matter. That was an issue. It came out of police brutality. It was really magnified when Floyd was killed. And we had to tiptoe around Caucasians. And then it was like, not just Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. But that was not the issue. We know all lives matter, but this was our issue. Slavery is our issue. So I don't want to have to tiptoe around Caucasians and make them feel okay, because we're still dealing with it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, this is some good conversation. I mean, we're chopping it up on a very, very high level. One of those things that's never talked about, you know, this whole issue of slavery being still legal in prison, you know, rather it be in prison, rather it be in the military, rather it be anywhere, it shouldn't exist. Slavery was abolished, and I'm 100% with you on that. And I'm going to tell you, during that time that I spent in prison, I felt that compression. And so this is this is why I bring this up. This is why we have this conversation, is because I felt it, and I don't forget about those men that are still sitting in that prison, that are still walking around those cold cement floors. They're still waiting for that child, still waiting for that commissary, still waiting for that letter to come through. We have not forgot about you. All those guys in prison doing those life sentences. Listen, we're traveling across the country. We're doing what we can out here to make sure that justice is served. So I want to say thank you guys. We've got another guest here, I believe, coming on the show. So we're going to take a break. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't switch that dial. When we come back, we'll have Caretha Kane with Preach the Word Worldwide, and we're going to talk about the show. We're going to talk a little bit about what she has to offer for people out there that may be looking to broadcast, people that are looking to get into the TV business. It's the I.M.A.G.E podcast, and we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We got Brother Michael Winfrey and his wife with us. Stay tuned.
You've got to free your power, 'cause your light is like a flower. Open up your heart, share what's inside. All you do is
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back on the I.M.A.G.E podcast, and we got Caretha Kane. And Caretha is with Preach the Word Worldwide TV. However, she has her own broadcasting show, her own show, and it's called Shift TV. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Shift TV. So for you ladies out there that and fellas who may want to get involved with some broadcasting, Caretha here was the one that actually set up all of this stuff for us to come out there on the show. And so I'm just glad to have you on the I.M.A.G.E podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Robert. I thank you for allowing me to come today.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So as far as Preach the Word Worldwide Network, I am the TV guest coordinator. My job is to find guests for 6 different flagship shows so that we can continue to put out content that is positive, that's encouraging, energetic, so that people can be uplifted and inspired. So that's one of my jobs with Preach the Word Worldwide Network.
Okay. And now tell us with Shift TV, your own personal show.
Okay.
Tell us
so
about
with
that.
Shift TV, the Shift TV show, Stand Hopeful in Faith Today, I am the CEO and founder of that show. It has been in existence for almost 5 years as of January 2024. And that particular show, I find different men and women of God who are letting their light shine where they are. So they can be doctors, lawyers, they can be in the 4 walls of the church, they can be anywhere, but they're letting their light shine for Jesus Christ.
That is awesome. So when we first got on the show, you went through looked at the I.M.A.G.E podcast. I remember you saying that you were very, very thankful that you were able to see that type of content, and then you welcomed us on the show. There may be some other people out there that are looking for opportunities like this, and how do they go about that?
So if they would like to be a guest on Preach the Word Worldwide Network, they would go to www.PTWWNTV.com, and there is an icon above at the top of the screen that says TV guest appearance, and there you can fill out the form or the application to be on any one of those flagship shows. There's 6 shows on that particular site. So all they have to do is just kind of look at the flyers, pay attention to the descriptions, and then from there they can apply, and that application will come to me, actually, and they would be conversing back and forth via email about the particular show, the date and the time that they would like to be a guest. And so there's all types of shows, from women's empowerment shows to shows where you can preach to shows where you can sing. So it depends on exactly what they are looking to expand their audience in. But we have a little bit of everything at Preach the Word Worldwide Network.
That is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Atlanta, Georgia now, having a beautiful time. We're meeting a lot of good people, a lot of people with different titles, a lot of people that have a lot of power in a lot of different positions. And that's the good thing about Atlanta, Georgia, is you've got that variety.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that for people that black, white, Asian, Mexican. I mean, there's an avenue and a lane that they can go down with people, and they get that support, from those type of people. So it makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And evens the playing field out. So that was a major blessing to be able to get on the show and be able to provide a platform that we were able to shoot that stuff all out across the world. And so how many different platforms did that go out to, media networks and things like that?
It went out to roughly about 6 different media platforms. When you come to Preach the Word Worldwide Network, it is a national television broadcasting service. And so that video would be on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Android TV. It would be on live television. It would go to the Atlanta station, the upstate New York station, Michigan station, and Los Angeles station. So there's several different platforms.
Wow, that's a whole lot of action out there. I can't wait to see the the people that respond back from after seeing this show. Now, you said you were telling me about Facebook and different things, because you guys pay attention and you kind of track us and look and see kind of what we're about. And so you were talking about that music, that I play. A lot of times I like to play rap music, and you had mentioned something about that. So I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you did that. Good. Because I'm still one of those guys. I like to, I'm kind of stuck in my ways in a lot of sense. So that was just good that you bring that up.
Good. I'm glad it helped.
Yes. So what is next for Caretha Kane?
What is next for Caretha Kane is I'm in my first phase of launching Shift TV Network. And so we will be launching in January of 2024. We are presently seeking broadcasters. We are shining the light in media. So if you have a show idea, Shift TV Network will not just offer preaching and teaching. If you can cook, right? You can do a cooking show. If you can cook and you want to do a cooking show. Ladies and gentlemen, if
you can cook, you've got opportunity right here. Being brought right in front of your very eyes.
Yeah. If you can cook, we want to expose those people. Maybe you want to do a children's show, maybe you want to do a reality show, but all of it's positive, right? All of it's clean. We're shining the light no matter what type of broadcast it is, so that anybody from 8 to 80 can watch it and go to sleep at night. Come on, somebody. And so we just want to be able to offer that to people, because there's a lot of people God has put different gifts and talents on the inside of them and has called them to television, but they may not have the money. They don't know where to begin. And so Shift TV Networks wants to offer them an opportunity at a very affordable rate, I may ask, to be on all of those national platforms: Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Android TV, Live TV, as well as social media. Social media is a big deal. And so we just want to help people to expand what the Lord has given them, so that we can continue to make his name great, so that we can continue to encourage one another and let people see that we are doing more than just going to church in the 4 walls, that we as believers, we live life.
So for some of the viewers out there that may be listening and they weren't able to catch the show that we were on, Image for Lives, and me, Brother Winfrey, and Brother Jonathan Hill, how can they go back and look at that?
And so we're talking about Preach the Word Worldwide Network. So if you want to go back and watch that particular clip with Bobby Pate and Pastor Winfrey and Pastor Hill, you can go to their website at www.PTWWNTV.com. There you can watch it on the website as well as on demand. If you have yeah, if you have on demand, you can always go back and watch it. And then, of course, if you have Facebook, you can go back and go to Preach the Word Worldwide Network Facebook page or the Marilyn Todman page, TODMAN page, and you can find it there, as well as Mr. Pate. I'm sure will have his accessible very soon for you to watch. And so, yes, you can watch it all there.
Now, there are also some television show or some TV stations in bigger cities, correct?
You said there's some television stations in the bigger cities?
Yeah, that the show airs on. Is that? Or no?
Right now, Preach the Word Worldwide Network is only based in Peachtree Corners, Georgia. But those stations you can watch anywhere. You know, if you have Roku, you can watch it anywhere. If you have Amazon Fire TV, you can watch that from anywhere, right? And as well as the stations that I named previously: Atlanta, Michigan, San Bernardino, and upstate New York.
And those are on the TV stations in those cities.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Yes.
Do you have any idea? And this is probably a question far left, but what time they air on those shows, on those different stations?
In order to be able to find that out, I would encourage people to go to the website at www.PTWWNTV.com. And on the homepage, when you scroll all the way down, all the pages are there, right? All the channels are there, and then you would be able to find the times.
All right, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, having a beautiful time. And we've got the New York Knicks that take on the Atlanta Hawks tonight, and can't wait for that live action. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for the support that you give. This is episode number 45 on the I.M.A.G.E. TV podcast, and we're saying so long from Atlanta, Georgia.